how do you change the propellers on your DJI Avata? You're going to start by flipping over your DJI Avata. I like to ensure that my camera case is in place so that I have ample protection and I know that it will not get damaged. Now, place it upside down like so. And what you're going to want to do is find the Allen wrench that came with your kit, or you usually get a new Allen wrench anytime you have new Avata blades, or you can pick up an Allen wrench like this one from your local hardware store for next to nothing. I recommend keeping this in your kit at all times because you never know when one of these blades is going to break on you and you don't want to be left on the ground in the field. So the first thing that you want to do when replacing your DJI Avata blades is identify which blades go in which position. This can actually be pretty challenging when you don't have the reference of the blades in the DJI Avata to go off of. One trick that I have found extremely helpful is if you're looking down at your DJI Avata, the left side of the DJI Avata, in the front left corner, the blades are sloped away. They're sloped to the left. And on the front right side of the DJI Avata, the blades are sloped to the right. Now you know that the first blade here matches the blade opposite to it. So if you are missing all four blades, you will know that you need to first place your left blade with a new blade like this one, where the blades are sloped to the left, away from me, and identify that blade. I like to place it in the position it will be going into on the DJI Avata so I don't have to remember. And then second, we're going to identify the right blade. Notice here, the blades are sloped away. They're sloped away to the right. So I know that this is the top right DJI Avata blade. Now, all I have to do is understand that the DJI Avata works in opposites. So the matching blade that slopes to the left is going to go in the back right of my DJI Avata. Now, last but not least is our final blade. Same thing, we're going to identify the sloping to the right and place it in the back left. Now that we have our blades identified, we can take off the old blades and replace them with new ones. What you're going to want to do is take the Allen wrench and loosen your blades. Sometimes these blades can get pretty stuck on there, so be careful. It is likely that you may break your blade when replacing them. It happens to me, especially if you got a little strong-handed when you were tightening your Allen screws originally. But don't fear, that's okay. Sometimes we break the blade and sometimes we lose a screw or break a screw. Any blade kit that comes from a reputable manufacturer will come with additional screws as well, or you can order them from the DJI Avata website. And there we go. So now that we have the first blade removed, we are going to want to keep these screws intact, and I recommend just replacing this blade immediately. So we're going to take the screws out, set them aside, and remember, we identified which propeller blade goes in which position. So we're going to, I find it easy to just flip it over. Okay, we are going to replace with this Avata blade. And what is important to note is that your blade has two sides to it. Do not get these mixed up. You want to make sure that the curved and sloped side of your blade is facing up on your DJI Avata, and that the bottom of the craft sees the concaved or curved side facing down. Very important. If you get this mixed up, you're going to not be able to fly your DJI Avata. You're most likely going to crash immediately and suffer some damage to your aircraft. So now that we've placed the blade into the same position that the old blade was in, or in this case, we're just going to line up the screws with the holes on the craft. You're going to start tightening the screw, and when you're going to want to stop is when you get kind of hand tight. You do not need to over tighten these blades. It is really important that you actually do not over tighten these blades. If your screw is too tight, it may cause the blade to crack mid-flight and cause a malfunction or a crash. In worst case, you crash your drone and lose it completely. So it just takes a few simple twists. It is not very much force needed to replace the blade and put the new screws in place. Now that we've replaced one blade, you can simply follow this same method and replace the other 3 as needed. Sometimes you only need to replace one blade in the field, and it's a good habit to have practiced this in advance so that when you're out there flying, you get as much time in the air and as minimal downtime as possible. Be sure to remember which blades go in which position, because if you mix this up, your craft is not going to fly and you will crash. It's a great practice to get familiar with where these blades are on your DJI Avata, and a great best practice is to take a photograph of what the blades look like in their current position so that when you're in the field, you don't have to refer to your photograph, and you will be back to flying in no time. And if you got something out of this video, please subscribe for more tech tips. I appreciate you being here. And if you have a DJI Avata and need more information or a new tutorial, please comment with the questions you have, and we'll see you in the next video.